القصة هي قصة الحياة السياسية.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Linda Tamim, and these are today's top stories. The Union of Municipalities of the Mount Lebanon districts of Shahar and Gharb al-Ala agreed to reopen the controversial Nami landfill for 7 days in a bid to help end the trash crisis. The Special Tribunal for Lebanon finds Al Jadid News Director Karmal Khayat guilty of failing to abide by an order to remove reports identifying prosecution witnesses in the case of the assassination of former Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri. And Israeli police prevent entrance to Al-Aqsa Mosque ahead of what Hamas dubs a day of rage. The Union of Municipalities of the Mount Lebanon districts of Shahar and Gharb al-Ala have agreed to briefly reopen the controversial Nami landfill to help end a 2-month-long trash crisis. LBCI quoted a union statement as saying, "We will give Agriculture Minister Akram Shayib's trash plan a chance, and we will open the Nami landfill for 7 days after we receive confirmation that the other sites proposed in Shayib's plan would also open." The statement comes a day after Shayib met with union officials representing a number of municipalities and in and around Shahar and Mount Lebanon. The garbage plan announced by Shayib last week and approved by Cabinet calls for establishing sanitary landfills in the northern district of Akkad and Masna near the border with Syria, as well as reopening the Nami landfill for 7 days and supporting robust waste recycling initiatives. The Special Tribunal for Lebanon investigating the 2005 assassination of former Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri has found Al Jadid News Director Karmal Khayat guilty of failing to abide by an order to remove reports identifying prosecution witnesses in the case. The prosecution argued that the reports put the witnesses' lives at risk, harmed their ability to make a case, and jeopardized the public's confidence in the court. In a decision issued by Judge Nicolas Leteri, the STL found Khayat had knowledge of the existence of an order to remove videos posted on the channel's website page in 2012, but failed to comply with it. However, the judge found Khayat not guilty of the more serious charge of undermining public confidence in the court by publishing the reports. The court also dismissed both charges against Al Jadid. A sentencing hearing will be held on September 28th.
Well, it's a very important verdict in the sense that the television company Al Jadid has been completely vindicated and acquitted of any criminal activity, and also an acquittal of Ms. Karmal Khayat in relation to the most serious charge of contempt, deliberately undermining confidence in the tribunal. So it's an important occasion. Of course, we will appeal the one conviction of Ms. Karmal Khayat that the judge found that she did not take off from a website the broadcast, which the judge found was not criminal in any event. But overall, for Al Jadid, it's important. This is a case that we say should never have been brought against the company. It's a legal novelty, it is a judicial innovation, and the judge has found that there was no evidence that out of the 10 or 11 people broadcast, 3 individuals' identity became known. Of course, the names were not given, their faces were pixelated. But critically, the judge found that there was no evidence that their confidence in the Special Tribunal for Lebanon had been undermined in any way. And for that reason, the company has been completely acquitted of any criminal wrongdoing after this long process. And that, of course, is a matter that we appreciate and applaud, and I think justice has been done.
Syrian army jets have carried out at least 25 airstrikes on the ISIS-held city of Palmyra, the second intense bombardment of territory held by the militants in 2 days. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said it was one of the most sustained government bombardments on Palmyra. It came a day after Syrian jets heavily bombed the city of Raqqa, an ISIS bastion in the north. Palmyra in central Syria and home to vast Roman-era ruins was seized by ISIS insurgents from government forces in May. And while there is no military solution to the crisis in Syria, the White House says the Obama administration will still welcome cooperation from Russia to address unrest in the region. White House spokesman Josh Earnest said his country remains open to tactical, practical discussions with Russia over the fight against the Islamic State in Syria.
There's no military solution to the turmoil that plagues Syria right now. The solution to this lies in advancing the kind of political agreement that would transfer Assad out of power and put in power a government inside of Syria that has the confidence and reflects the will of the Syrian people. That's the root of this. We would warn them against doubling down on their support for the Assad regime. That's a losing bet. It's a losing bet for Russia, it's a losing bet for Syria, and it's a losing bet for our efforts to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL. But we do have some of the concerns that you just described, and that's why we'll remain open to what I would describe as tactical, practical discussions with the Russians. And those discussions would be focused on furthering the goals of our counter-ISIL coalition and ensuring the safe conduct of anti-ISIL coalition operations.
And coming up next, 43 people are killed as Taliban fighters storm an Air Force station near Pakistan's Peshawar. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Israeli police beefed up their numbers in Jerusalem, barring young men from prayers at Al-Aqsa Mosque ahead of what Islamist Palestinian movement Hamas dubbed a day of rage. Palestinian protesters have clashed with police at the sacred site for 3 days now over this week's Jewish New Year, in spite of international calls for calm. In a unanimous declaration, the UN Security Council expressed its grave concern and called for maintaining the rules governing the sensitive sites seen as holy by both Muslims and Jews. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Nayef attended a military parade and combat skills demonstration as the kingdom stepped up security ahead of Islam's annual Hajj pilgrimage. But security is not Saudi Arabia's only challenge in the build-up to the Hajj, as a recent surge in cases of the sometimes deadly Middle East respiratory syndrome known as MERS has caused concern. But Health Minister Khalid Al-Falih told a news conference that the disease was coming under control. At least 43 people were killed when fighters belonging to the Pakistani Taliban stormed an Air Force station near Peshawar in Pakistan's northwest, resulting in a firefight with security forces. ISPR, the Pakistan military's media wing, said at least 21 security officers and 5 civilians working at the Badaber Air Force Base died, and 14 fighters were killed in the gun battle. The Pakistani Taliban, also known as Tehrik al-Taliban, claimed responsibility for the raid at the facility located on the edge of Peshawar. Tensions flared and scuffles broke out as migrants waited at a bus and train station in Croatia's Beli Manastir town. The country's Interior Minister Ranko Ostojic said Croatia will not allow refugees to proceed northwards to Slovenia on their way to Germany, as thousands of people streamed into the country from Serbia. Ostojic said the refugees entering the town of Tovarnik from Serbia would have to seek asylum in Croatia after the authorities provided safe passage to reception centers around the capital Zagreb. Ostojic also said more than 9,000 refugees entered the country from Serbia in the past 24 hours. Japan is expected to pass security bills that would allow troops to fight on foreign soil for the first time since World War II. Despite fierce criticism, it would fundamentally alter the character of the pacifist nation. The legislation backed by Shinzo Abe's ruling coalition was expected to go to a vote in the full upper house sometime today, following days of heated debate that at times descended into scuffles and shouting matches between parliament members. Opposition lawmakers pushed and shoved in a failed bid to stop a committee approving the bills. Abe has faced fierce criticism for his handling of the bills, and there are growing signs the campaign has taken a political toll. The short-term freezing of your body, called cryotherapy, is becoming a popular way to boost your metabolism, increase your energy, and feel better. To take advantage of its health benefits, you must submerge yourself in extremely low temperatures, below -130 degrees Celsius. The treatment was developed in Japan and has been used in parts of Europe for about 20 years. Inside the CryoLab spa in Manhattan, New York City, customers pay about $90 to stand in tall tubular cryo chamber for no more than 3 minutes. Customers wear socks and gloves to protect from acute frostbite and a bathing suit. Liquid nitrogen is used to cool the air in the chamber as an attendant watches for any signs of extreme discomfort.
The energy level, it just increases. You feel wonderful, it helps you sleep, you totally relax, you have clear mind, you're thinking straight. It's just energy. You know, you can go, a couple of hours after this, you can go and take high impact workout and it just feels wonderful. I cycle, so I can go and I can have, 45 minutes of amazing workout session that I didn't have before, and just, I'm amazed at myself. I'm like a superwoman now.
It was designed to reduce inflammation and pain. That was the first most important cause of creating the therapy. But with time, it was found out that, for instance, in cases of fibromyalgia, it helps with depressive and anxiety symptoms. It helps with cognitive behavior, with stiffness, with sleep, with sleep disturbances or insomnia. And the strength increases, anaerobic strength increases, and that's probably due to greater testosterone release, an anti-inflammatory aspect. And then the beauty part of it, which is, we kind of treat it as a side effect, but it's a very, very important part. Your skin gets more glowing because of the anti-inflammatory effect. Then the skin tones evens out. It supports weight loss. It's not going to cause the weight loss if you're not keeping the diet, but it's.
Soccer star David Beckham is the star of a new short film titled Outlaws, in which he has the role of a mysterious drifter, the Stranger. The film, commissioned by Belstaff, the British fashion label with whom Beckham has an ongoing relationship, tells the story of a motorcycle stuntman haunted by memories of a beautiful trapeze artist. At the same time, he is hunted by maniacal directors seeking revenge. While Beckham has scored some big gigs, including a role in Guy Ritchie's Knights of the Round Table, scheduled for release next year, he denied rumors that he is pursuing acting seriously.
I was very nervous, to work with such great people who are so professional and so humble and so easy to work with. My job was easy. I was kind of really happy that I didn't have to say anything throughout the movie because, I'm working with professionals here. It was fun. It wasn't me going in, launching a new career. I'm not launching a new career of being an actor. This was just something that I was very honoured to be part of, very honoured to be working with some of the people that I was working with, or actually all of the people that I was working with. And I felt very lucky to actually be, in something that is so great. Yeah, I've read those articles as well. Guy's a good friend of mine, and he's asked me to be in a couple of things before. Obviously he shot my H&M campaign, and obviously I played a small part in Man from U.N.C.L.E., and then obviously in a couple of other things that I've been involved in. But no, it's definitely not a new career for me, but it's something that I've had fun doing, and that's what it's all about. It's fun. The biggest challenge was obviously my nerves, probably, because obviously when I've played soccer for the last 22 years, so then when you step into a situation like this where you're doing a short movie with the likes of Catherine and Kathy and Harvey, it was more nerves than anything else, but thankfully they were three amazing people. And Harvey was the first one that I met on the evening that I arrived, and he was so sweet. And then I was sat in my trailer just before we started filming, and I got handed a bunch of flowers, and they were from Harvey. So it was an easy kind of thing to be on because everyone was so sweet.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a recap of our top stories. The Union of Municipalities of the Mount Lebanon districts of Shahad and Gharb al-Ala agreed to reopen the controversial Nami landfill for 7 days in a bid to help end the trash crisis. The Special Tribunal for Lebanon finds Al Jadid News director Karmal Khayyat guilty of failing to abide by an order to remove reports identifying prosecution witnesses in the case of the assassination of former Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri. And Israeli police prevent entrance to Al-Aqsa Mosque ahead of what Hamas dubs a day of rage. Those are your top stories for this Friday. I'm Lena Tamim, and I wish you all a very nice weekend.
القصة هي قصة